how you solve rational equation. For example, we have 4x plus 3 all over 2 is equal to 3x over 4. So since the two sides of the equation is in ratio form, so we can say that this equation is a proportion. So applying the law of proportion, that the product of the extremes is equal to the product of the means, then we will identify the extremes 4x plus 3 and 4, and our means 3x and 2. So we can do cross multiplication here. So you have 4x plus 3 times 4, so we're going to have 4 times 4x plus 3 is equal to 2 times 3x. So applying the distributive property of multiplication, so we can distribute 4 times 4x, you have 16x. 4 times 3, so you have 12, equals 2 times 3x, so you have 6x. Okay, so we are going to isolate the terms with a variable on one side and the term without a variable or a constant on the other side. So here, since our constant is 12, so we are going to subtract or add the opposite of 12 on both sides of the equation. So we're going to add negative 12 here on the left side, so we have plus negative 12 and negative 12 also on the other side. So this part here becomes 0. So you have 16x is equal to 6x minus 12. Since we still have x on one side, so we're going to add the opposite of 6x on both sides of our equation. So we have negative 6x here and add another negative 6x on the left side. So we have 16x plus negative 6x is equal to 10x. Then 6x plus negative 6x, that's equal to 0. So we're going to copy 12. Since we're going to solve for x, then we're going to multiply the coefficient of our x here is 10. So we're going to multiply both sides with the multiplicative inverse of our coefficient. So the multiplicative inverse of 10 is 1/10. So multiply both sides of the equation with 1/10. Then we have 1/10 times 10 is equal to 1. So we have 1x is equal to negative 12 times 1, you have negative 12, and then you have 1 times 10, you have over 10. So our x is equal to negative 12 over 10. Since negative 12 over 10 can still be written in lowest terms, so we're going to divide the numerator and denominator by its common factor. So we have negative 12 divided by 2, our common factor is 2. So negative 12 divided by 2, you have negative 6. 10 divided by 2, we have 5. So our x is equal to negative 6 over 5, or we have negative 6 over 5. How are we going to know that our answer is correct, or the solution of our equation is correct? Of course, we're going to do the checking. So for the checking, what we're going to do is just simply substitute the value of x. So you have, our original equation, you have 4x plus 3 over 2 is equal to 3x over 4. Simply substitute the value of x and every variable. So our x is negative 6 over 5, substitute it here. So you have 4, instead of writing x, isusulat mo negative 6 over 5 plus 3 all over 2 is equal to 3. Have 3, substitute x with negative 6 over 5 all over 4, and you're going to simplify the two sides of your equation. So you have 4 times negative 6, you have negative 24, copy the denominator. We have 1 times 5, it's 5, plus 3. So here, I write 1 for the denominator of 3, because we know that the whole number is denominator 1. Is equal to 3 times negative 6, you have negative 18. And then you have 1 here, 1 times 5, you have 5, which is copy 5. All over 4. And then here, we can simplify this. Actually, in adding fractions, not necessarily you're going to find their LCD, but you can find their common denominator, not necessarily these. Okay? So, here, to find their LCD, I think their LCD is 5 because you have 5 times 1. Or, pwede, gagawin mo lang para mas mabilis ang computation mo, you can do cross multiplication. You have 1 times negative 12, negative 24, so you have negative 24, plus 5 times 3, you have 15. All over, just multiply their denominator, so they will have common denominator, that is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. All over 2, do not forget the denominator 2, equals, just copy this one here. And then we can simplify, negative 24 plus 15, so you have negative 9. That's negative 24 plus 15, that's negative 9. All over 5, all over 2. Dito naman, just copy it. Since our denominator is 2, so pwede mo siyang, the operation is division. So, parang sabihin mo, negative 9 over 5 divided by 2. And we know that when we divide fractions, we are going to get the reciprocal of our divisor, which is 2, and then multiply it to the dividend. So, ito yung dividend natin. Multiply mo siya sa reciprocal ng divisor. So, the reciprocal of 2 over 1 is 1/2. So, you have negative 9 over 5, your dividend, times reciprocal of 2 over 1 is 1/2. So, multiply the numerators. Negative 9 plus 5 times 1 is negative 9. 5 times 2, that's 10. On the other side, so you have negative 18 over 5 divided by 4. So same process, just write your dividend, you have negative 18 over 5, multiply it with the reciprocal of your divisor, which is, your divisor is 4 over 1, get the reciprocal, that's 1/4. Then multiply them. So since dito, we have negative 18 and 4, you can do cancellation. Actually, no process for cancellation, but you can do cancellation here. You can divide 18 and 4 by 2. So divided by 18 by 2, you have 9, that's negative 9. And then you have 4 divided by 2, that's 2. And do the multiplication. Negative 9 times 1, you have negative 9. And 5 times 2, you have 10. Since the values of the two sides of the equation are equal, then our solution is correct. Let's have another example. Our second example is x over 3 plus x minus 5 all over 2 is equal to x minus 6 all over 3. As you can observe, unlike the first example, this equation is composed of three rational expressions. So, on one side of our equation, we have two rational expressions. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to combine these two expressions. How? So simply add them, find their LCD. 3 times 2, just multiply 3 times 2, you have 6. Then due to cross multiplication, x times 2, you have 2x plus 3 times x minus 5, so just copy it, and then your denominator 6. It's equal to just copy the expression on the right side. So apply the distributive property of multiplication. So you have 3 times x, 3x. 3 times 5, you have negative 15. And then copy this expression. And then here, we can combine like terms. So you have 2x plus 3x, you have 5x minus 15 all over 6 is equal to x times 6 all over 3. So there, you have a proportion now. So you can do cross multiplication again. So we're going to multiply 3 to 5x minus 15. So you have 3 times 5x minus 15, multiplying their extremes. So you have 3 times 5x minus 15 is equal to 6 times x minus 6. That is their means, the means of our equation or proportion. So you have 6 times x minus 6. And then distributive property of multiplication. So you have 3 times 5x, you have 15x. 3 times negative 15, so you have negative 45 is equal to 6 times x, 6x. 6 times negative 6, you have negative 36. Then isolate the term or the terms with variable x on the left side and the constant terms on the right side. So here, on this side, meron tayong constant term na negative 45. So dapat mag-0 ito. We can make it 0 by adding both sides of the equation with positive 45. So add positive 45 on both sides. So this is 0. Copy 15x is equal to 6x. Negative 36 plus 45, that is positive 9. So on the right side, meron pa tayong variable, or meron pa tayong term with a variable. So to eliminate this one, mag-add tayo ng negative 6x or its additive inverse. So, since this is positive 6x, so add tayo ng negative 6x, add ka ng negative 6x on the left side. Actually, ginagamit ang iba, you do transposing, transpose. So, here, this is 0, copy 9, and dito naman, 15x plus negative 6x, you have 9x. And then, since we're looking for the value of our x, so para mawala tong 9 na to, para maging 1x na lang yan, so we can multiply both sides of the equation by the multiplicative inverse of our 9, the variable of x. I mean the coefficient, numerical coefficient of x. So multiply it with its reciprocal, 1/9, then the other side. So this is 1x is equal to 9 times 1/9, that's equal to 1. Let's check if our solution is correct or the value of x is correct. So simply write our original equation and then substitute each variable of x to our answer, the value of x here, which is 1. So x, substitute mo, papalitan mo yan ng 1, ito din, x, papalitan ng 1, ito, papalitan ng 1. And then, simplify each side of your equation. So you have copy 1/3 plus 1 minus 5, that's negative 4, all over 2 is equal to 1 minus 6, that's negative 5 over 3. So we can combine this. So I said, you can do cross multiplication, but remember, in doing cross multiplication, don't forget to write your common denominator by multiplying them. So you have now 3 times 2, that's 6, that's your denominator. And then you have your fractional graph, fractional line, which have 2 times 1 is 2 plus 3 times negative 4 is negative 12 is equal to negative 5/3. Combine 2 and negative 12. 2 plus negative 12, you have negative 10 over 6 is equal to negative 5/3. Since negative 10 and 2 and 6 have common factor, which is 2, so we can divide and still write it into its lowest term. So divide the numerator and denominator by 2. So negative 10 divided by 2, that's negative 5. 6 divided by 2, that's 3. Then write or copy the negative 5/3 on the other side. So since negative 5/3 equal to negative 5/3 equal sila, so therefore we can say that our x equals 1 solution is correct.